We had so much talent on the court, but we do have to pick one MVP.
Imagine walking away from your team, thinking you're making some bold statement, only to watch them level up without you.
DeWanna Bonner, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
That's the reality DeWanna Bonner is facing right now. While she waits by the phone, her former squad, the Indiana Fever, are suddenly becoming the most talked about team in the WNBA.
So the truth is, DeWanna Bonner was butthurt.
And here's the kicker. They might replace Bonner with a finals MVP. Someone who doesn't just fill her shoes, but completely outshines her. Just a year ago, the Indiana Fever were stuck at the bottom of the league, a team most stars avoided, a franchise weighed down by losing seasons and empty promises. But that all changed the moment Caitlyn Clark showed up.
DeWanna Bonner signs a free agent contract with the Indiana Fever.
Clark didn't just bring her highlight reel plays. She brought attention, energy, and hope. Suddenly, Indiana wasn't just another rebuilding project. It became a team players wanted to be part of. Ticket sales skyrocketed. National media paid attention. And the Fever? They actually started looking dangerous. But with success comes choices. And for DeWanna Bonner, that meant facing the hard part, sticking through the growing pains or walking away.
I don't want to come off the bench is not a personal issue.
We all know what she chose. DeWanna Bonner made headlines, but not for the reasons you'd expect from a two-time WNBA champion. Midway through the season, with the Fever still grinding to find their rhythm, Bonner made her move. She quit. Now officially, she stepped away from the team.
Anybody with any intuition could sort of see that this was getting odd.
But let's be real. The message was loud and clear across the league. When things didn't go her way, she bailed. In a league as tight-knit as the WNBA, your reputation travels fast. You can score all the points you want, but the moment you're seen as unreliable, doors start closing. Bonner probably thought teams would be lining up for her. She's got the rings, the stats, the experience. But instead, silence. While she waits for the next opportunity, her former team is on the verge of adding a player who could change everything. And that's where Emma Meesseman comes in. Emma Meesseman isn't just another free agent floating around the rumor mill. We're talking about a finals MVP, a two-time WNBA champion, and one of the most complete players in the league today. She's the kind of talent every team wants, but not every team gets. And here's what's wild. Multiple reports say Meesseman is considering joining the Indiana Fever. That's right, the same team DeWanna Bonner just walked away from. The same franchise that's gone from league bottom feeder to potential super team overnight. Meesseman brings exactly what Indiana's been missing. A big who can score inside, stretch the floor, defend multiple positions, and, maybe most importantly, make her teammates better. Her basketball IQ is off the charts, and her ability to create plays fits perfectly with Caitlyn Clark's fast-paced style. Elite players like Meesseman don't look twice at struggling franchises. But Indiana? Suddenly, they're on the map. This is where the story flips completely. DeWanna Bonner left the Fever, probably thinking she was making a statement, that Indiana wasn't worth sticking around for, that she'd have her pick of teams, maybe even a contender lined up, ready to sign her. But reality? It hit fast. Bonner's phone isn't exactly blowing up. The league took notice when she walked away mid-season, and not in a good way. Teams aren't lining up to sign players with a reputation for quitting when the situation gets tough. Meanwhile, Indiana's stock keeps climbing. They're not just surviving without Bonner, they're upgrading. If they land Emma Meesseman, it's not a replacement, it's an upgrade in every sense. Meesseman's track record, her skill set, her championship experience. She checks every box Bonner left empty. The irony? It couldn't be more perfect. Bonner cleared the roster space. The Fever filled it with someone better. The WNBA is small, just 12 teams, tight rosters, and everybody talks. In this league, your reputation follows you everywhere. And when you quit mid-season, that reputation hits harder than your stat sheet ever could. For DeWanna Bonner, that's the harsh reality sinking in. Teams don't just sign players based on points and rebounds. They look at character, commitment, and how you fit into a locker room. Bonner's decision to walk away sent a message, and not the one she intended. Meanwhile, Indiana is flipping the script. They've gone from a franchise players avoided to a destination for elite talent. Caitlyn Clark's arrival sparked a buzz, but it's not just hype. It's turning into real momentum. If Emma Meesseman chooses the Fever over established contenders like Minnesota or New York, that's a league-wide statement. It shows Indiana isn't just rebuilding. They're building something players want to be part of. And for Bonner, that realization has to sting. Fever fans have been through it. Years of frustration, bottom of the standings finishes, and watching other teams dominate. But now, everything's changing. Caitlyn Clark brought the spotlight, but the potential addition of Emma Meesseman would take things to a whole new level. Imagine it. Clark's playmaking, Meesseman's veteran presence, and the kind of chemistry that makes opposing teams nervous. For the fans, this isn't just about adding talent. It's about validation. The player who quit on them is gone, and suddenly, the team looks stronger than ever. It's the sports version of addition by subtraction. The best part, they didn't have to settle. They're not patching holes with lesser players. They're leveling up. And for Fever fans, after years of disappointment, that feels like winning the lottery. For years, the Indiana Fever were the WNBA's forgotten franchise, the kind of team that other players and agents barely mentioned, except maybe as a cautionary tale. They cycled through coaches, missed on draft picks, and built a reputation for being stuck in a never-ending rebuild. Teams like Las Vegas, New York, and Seattle were the ones grabbing headlines, building super teams, stacking championship banners. Meanwhile, Indiana, they were just there, at the bottom of the standings, losing games, losing fans, losing hope. But that narrative did a full 180 when Caitlyn Clark arrived. Her college dominance carried over into the pros, not just with her play, but with the attention she brought. Overnight, Indiana wasn't just another rebuilding team. Suddenly, every Fever game was must-watch TV. Packed arenas, national broadcasts, social media blowing up. People weren't just watching Indiana, they were talking about Indiana. And that changed everything. Elite players started paying attention. The whispers got louder. Something's brewing in Indiana. It wasn't just hype, it was real. Young talent developing, a team identity forming. And most importantly, players like Emma Meesseman started looking at Indiana not as a dead end, but as a destination, a team on the rise. When DeWanna Bonner decided to walk away mid-season, a lot of people were shocked. Here's a player with championship experience, big game credibility, and veteran status, turning her back on a young team trying to find its way. From the outside, it might have looked like a power move, like Bonner was sending a message. I'm too good for this rebuild. I deserve to be on a contender. Maybe she thought teams would be lining up to sign her the minute she left Indiana. But reality hit different. Because the WNBA isn't just about talent, it's about reputation. It's about trust. And walking away mid-season? That's a red flag for every GM in the league. Coaches talk. Players talk. Agents talk. Suddenly, Bonner wasn't seen as a reliable vet. She was seen as someone who bailed when things got tough. The harsh truth is, Bonner misread the market. The league didn't reward her decision, it punished it. And now, while Indiana moves forward, adding pieces, building chemistry, Bonner's stuck watching from the outside. Her gamble? It backfired in the worst possible way. Emma Meesseman is the type of player that instantly shifts a franchise's trajectory. She's not a flashy, highlight reel, media-chasing superstar. But ask anyone inside the WNBA, and they'll tell you Meesseman wins. Finals MVP, two-time WNBA champion, a player who's been through the pressure, the grind, the championship battles, and come out on top. What makes her so dangerous is her versatility. At 6 feet 4 inches, she can score in the post, knock down mid-range jumpers, stretch the floor with the 3-ball, and facilitate offense like a guard. Her basketball IQ is elite. Defensively, she's positionless, guarding bigs, switching onto smaller players, communicating, anchoring a defense. For Indiana, signing Meesseman wouldn't just be about adding talent. It'd be about legitimacy. It would signal to the league that the Fever are done rebuilding. They're ready to compete. Pairing Meesseman with Caitlyn Clark would instantly make Indiana one of the most intriguing teams in the league. Their skill sets complement each other perfectly. Clark's playmaking and Meesseman's floor spacing, it opens up the offense in ways Indiana hasn't seen in years. And it's not lost on anyone that Meesseman is even considering Indiana, a team she wouldn't have looked at twice just one season ago. Let's be honest, walking away from a team mid-season is more than just a roster move. It's a psychological gamble. You're betting on your worth, your market value, your reputation. And when that bet doesn't pay off, the mental weight is crushing. For DeWanna Bonner, that's exactly where she's at right now. Picture this. Every day, scrolling through headlines, watching the fever you left behind stacking wins, building chemistry, becoming the team you thought they'd never be. And you, sitting by the phone, waiting for offers that aren't coming. It messes with your head. You start questioning everything. The decision to walk away, your standing in the league, your future. And the worst part, the league moves on fast. While Bonner wrestles with regret, Indiana's in the spotlight. Meesseman's name linked to the team. Clark becoming the face of the franchise. Fans forgetting the past. For Bonner, the psychological toll isn't just professional, it's personal. Reputation bruised. Future uncertain. Watching a team you walked away from succeed without you? That's a hard pill to swallow. It's rare for a rookie to completely change a franchise's trajectory. But that's exactly what Caitlyn Clark has done for Indiana. Her impact goes beyond the court. Sure, the stats are impressive. Deep threes, pinpoint passes, flashy plays. But what Clark brought to Indiana is something even more valuable: belief. Before Clark, the Fever were an afterthought. Now, they're headline news. Ticket sales are up. Merch is flying off the shelves. National media outlets are locked in. But the influence goes even deeper. Clark's presence attracts other players. Veterans who see the potential. Free agents who want to win. Stars who want to play alongside her. Emma Meesseman considering Indiana? That doesn't happen without Clark. Her arrival shifted the power dynamic. Suddenly, Indiana isn't rebuilding, they're reloading. For young players, Clark represents hope. For veterans, opportunity. And for DeWanna Bonner, missed timing. She walked away right before the Clark effect transformed the Fever into a team worth staying for. Every player in the WNBA is watching this unfold. The Indiana Fever were a cautionary tale, a team known for losing streaks and wasted seasons. But look at them now. The message: stay patient, trust the process. When a franchise commits to building the right way, good things follow. But there's another side to that message, and it's the one DeWanna Bonner is living. Walking away when things are tough. It follows you. It hurts your stock. It changes how teams view you, not just as a player, but as a professional. The Fever didn't fold when Bonner left. They elevated. They became a destination. Now, other players are taking notes. If Indiana can turn things around, so can anyone. But abandon your team at the wrong time? You might find yourself where Bonner is, watching from the sidelines, wondering what could have been. Building a contender isn't about flashy headlines or panic trades. It's about vision, patience, and timing. And Indiana's front office? They played this situation like absolute pros. When DeWanna Bonner walked away, the easy move would have been to overreact, desperately filling the roster, chasing short-term fixes. But the Fever stayed calm. They focused on development, culture, and keeping their long-term plan intact. That strategy paid off. Clark arrived. Young players grew. And now, veterans like Emma Meesseman are circling. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens when leadership makes smart, steady decisions, even under pressure. The Fever's front office deserves credit for turning a low point, the loss of a veteran, into an opportunity to upgrade in every sense of the word. You can't measure locker room chemistry on a stat sheet, but every championship team will tell you it's everything. Trust, loyalty, and unity off the court always translate to success on it. That's exactly where DeWanna Bonner's exit left a mark. When a veteran walks away mid-season, it doesn't just impact the rotations, it shakes the foundation. Teammates start questioning motives, leadership feels exposed, and doubts creep in. But here's where Indiana did something rare. They absorbed the hit and got stronger. The Fever's locker room leaned into the adversity. Young players stepped up. Leaders like Caitlyn Clark filled the void, not with ego, but with belief. And now, The same locker room Bonner walked away from is attracting elite players like Emma Meesseman. That speaks volumes. It shows that Indiana rebuilt not just their roster, but their culture. Loyalty matters here, and players who stick through the tough times get to enjoy the success that follows. Championship experience is priceless. It's the difference between winning when the pressure's on and crumbling under the lights. Emma Meesseman brings exactly that, and it's why her potential arrival in Indiana is such a game changer. Meesseman has been in the biggest moments, final series, title-clinching games, international tournaments. She's been tested against the best and delivered. But what makes her even more valuable? She elevates everyone around her. Her ability to read defenses, make the right pass, stretch the floor, and anchor the team defensively makes her a rare, modern big who checks every box. But beyond the skill, she brings a championship mindset, accountability, professionalism, the kind of quiet leadership that changes a team's ceiling. For a young roster like Indiana's, that experience is invaluable. It fast-tracks development. It builds belief. And for players like Caitlyn Clark, having a proven winner by your side accelerates your growth. Meesseman isn't just a potential signing. She's a foundation piece. The Fever's rise isn't just a feel-good story. It's a blueprint for how struggling franchises can flip the script. In a league where super teams often dominate, Indiana's patience and player development stand out. They didn't buy success overnight. They built it, drafted smart, developed young players, stuck with their system when the losses piled up, and most importantly, they created an environment where players want to stay, and where stars like Emma Meesseman want to join. Other WNBA teams are watching. They see how Indiana handled adversity, how they turned a mid-season exit from a veteran like Bonner into an opportunity. They see how the Fever used Clark's arrival not just for hype, but to attract real talent. This isn't just about one team. It's about showing the league that the right culture, built the right way, can transform a franchise faster than people think. DeWanna Bonner thought walking away from the Fever was her power move. But in reality, it was the beginning of the best thing that's happened to Indiana in years. While Bonner waits for calls that aren't coming, the Fever are building momentum, stacking talent, and possibly adding a finals MVP to their roster. Emma Meesseman isn't just an upgrade. She's the kind of player who changes everything. On the court, in the locker room, and across the league. For Indiana, it's the ultimate turnaround. A struggling franchise turned destination team. For Bonner, it's a harsh lesson in how quickly the game can flip. Sometimes, walking away isn't about strength, it's just quitting. And in the WNBA, actions have consequences. Reputations stick. And while the Fever rise, DeWanna Bonner's watching from the outside, wondering what could have been. Funny how karma works.